Thank you so much for joining us for Music Marvels with Achickwitbeatz and Breezy Gipson. I am music producer Achickwitbeatz.
And I'm entrepreneur Breezy Gipson.
And we're so excited that you're with us today. We thank you for joining us. And, we got another great show lined up for you. This time we have poet, MC, vocalist, just an all-around performer extraordinaire, Deidre D. Essence Smith. And so, we're excited to have her on the show. And of course, we've got music industry news and beats by yours truly sprinkled in throughout.
Oh yeah, and I'm interested to find out. I can't wait, how she got to learn how she got that name, D Essence. That sounds like she's really the essence.
Yes, absolutely. So, okay, we're gonna go ahead and dive in, and then we'll be back.
Okay.
thank you so much for joining us for Music Marvels with Achickwitbeatz and Breezy Gipson. We're excited to announce that we have, she's always about her business anytime I see her on social media and always on her Detroit everything. Poet, lyricist, D-Essence. How are you doing?
I am well and I won't complain. Thank you for having me.
Yes, we're glad to have you on the show. And if you could, really quick, just kind of break down a little bit about, who is D-Essence, a little bit of the history behind your name and what you do, and when you decided that you needed, lyricism to be a part of your life.
Okay. Well, I am a diehard native Detroiter. I grew up on the east side of Detroit. I currently reside on the west side of Detroit. And I had come into the world of music as a child. I was raised on a lot of jazz, a lot of R&B, some classic rock. And eventually, hip-hop caught my ear one summer, the summer of kindergarten, actually. A cousin of mine, he had come over and he had brought the JJ Fad Supersonic 45 record. And he put it on my Sesame Street record player. And when I heard the first notes and the chorus and everything, I said, what is this? And I got to be a part of it. Not only do I have to be, but I will be a part of it. And some years passed. And I had been a vocalist, poetry began to emerge, and then hip-hop ensued. I remember 7th grade writing my first rap with that same cousin. So from that, I began to hit the open mic scene here in Detroit, and I would go as Deidre Smith. I would be the first one in. Before they were set up, I would sign the open mic list. And, excuse me, I would sign the open mic list, and I would always be the last one to be called. I would be in before they set up, and I would perform while they were busting tables. And my name would be skipped over, and I would hear from the stage, do we have a Deidre Smith? And I would just raise my hand in the empty room that it cleared out. And it's Deidre Smith. And they said, well, come on up. And I would perform with just as much fervor if it were a full room. And I would watch the bus boys stop doing what they're doing and watch the kitchen staff come out and watch me perform and watch the host that would skip my name see why they may have made a mistake. So from that, I went from being the first one in and last one to be called to not having to sign a list at all. And then a friend of mine who I began rapping with, I've gone through a lot of groups and collectives that have helped me along the way. And one of them being Raw Dog Collection and Raw Dog Records, rather. I'm sorry. And a brother by the name of Poetic Menace and Robert Gillespie spearheaded that record company. And Poetic Menace would tell me, D, you so cold. You gotta get a stage name. I said, well, no, Deidre is all right with me. That's fine, because if you recall, I stated that I was a vocalist and a poet before an MC. So I didn't find any, purpose in me adopting the stage name. I thought that Deidre was befitting because I can kind of like have an all-encompassing presence and name with just my legal name. And so he said, no, we gotta get you something like I gotta call you the Essence. And so Poetic Menace had dubbed me the Essence, and he had spelled it the apostrophe in the classical spelling of essence. And I said, well, no. I said, I like it, but if we can still incorporate my name in it. And I said, how about we do this? How about we put my initials, D period, S period, and put sense behind it so I can say Deidre Smith has sense. but it'll still be the essence, meaning the essence of hip hop. So there was a fair compromise, and with that, I still said I am Deidre D. Essence Smith, like a Tribe Called Quest, and I wanted everything that I am to be within my name and within my artistry, and that's how I came to be known as an artist in Detroit and abroad, and also how I got my stage name.
Wow, that is phenomenal, isn't it, Breezy?
Yeah, well, that really strikes a note with me, because I have some questions in the back of my mind, not to you, but other questions in the back of my mind concerning various trends that are taking place in the music industry these days, taking attention away from the individual musicians and putting all the attention on what's going on in business. Okay, and see, so I applaud you for making sure that you maintained, there was, the person was trying to take that away from you, and you insisted they were trying to take your name away, and you insisted on having your name remaining back in that. Okay, so to come to a compromise was great, but still you retained that control, whether people will look at it as large or small, you still in there. So I'm just cheering you on for that.
Thank you. To be fair, I don't believe my brother was insisting that I adopt something that I wasn't. I think that he wanted me to adopt the name for something he felt I embodied, and I do believe that his intent on me having a stage name had more to do with kind of putting a name to what he felt emanating from me. And I, being the person I am, you're absolutely right that I had to insist that I still be present even in the stage name. I don't necessarily believe in alter egos or anything like that. I don't believe in fragmenting oneself. When it comes to artistry, I think that everything that you are is going to come through your art in general. So why not be you? And that's not any diss or shade to anybody who adopts a stage name, because I do have one. But I do believe that everything that you are, even a name that you choose to discard of, a history that you choose to step away from or discard of, or a future that you look forward to, all of that is going to come through you and your art, regardless of who you call yourself.
Yeah, that is true indeed. I know initially, once I became known as Achickwitbeatz, to a lot of people, like, oh, well, there's me and then there's Achickwitbeatz. It's a difference. But then the more music I started to do and the longer I've been in it, I realized, like, no, I actually am Achickwitbeatz. I was a scapegoat. So that way, if people didn't approve, I could just blame it on Achickwitbeatz. But yeah, you're right. It's kind of interesting how art can help you learn yourself better,
I find that, excuse me, I find that in my art, I can see a lot of my flaws. If you listen to some of the lyrics and listen to some of the songs in general in the projects, you can hear this tug of war. There's intimacy, sensuality, grittiness, street vibe, hood. There's a culmination of all these things that I am. And even if you listen to a particular song, like, you can hear this blend or this tug of war. And a lot of my projects, they come in really, really aggressive, and they end very soft, almost spiritual. They come in very aggressive. There's swearing. It's a lot of stuff. And then you can hear me reference love. You can hear me reference a street brawl. You can hear me all these things. And no matter how hard I might try to focus on the lovely parts of myself, and there are very many of them, there's still some ugly things, some things I'm sorting out, some things that are heavily flawed. And I think that's the marking of true artists. They don't mind putting themselves out there. And although we may mind the criticism and ridicule that might come with that, we have to take that just as willingly as we take the praise. So, I embrace it all. I don't want to blame too much on the MC, and I want to assume a lot of responsibility as Deidre for a lot of things that I say and do in the music. And I know that sometimes it could be abrasive, so I have to be ready for that pushback when that comes up, just as well as I receive the praise.
Wow. Man, I've been getting chills every time you've been speaking. What about you, Breezy?
Yeah, it's a very, very heartwarming understanding. The way you broke that down and touching folks, and I'm sure the listeners are receiving the same spirit that is coming from you while you're describing that pathway that you've taken. And so so that's a really rare and warm moment. And, you've caused that to go throughout the airwaves from here to there and beyond just by the way you described that.
Thank you, Breezy. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, one thing that I've noticed in the midst of everything that you do, you always find time to encourage and uplift others. It's really easy to hit the level that you have and just kind of, just focus on your own thing. How do you, what prompts you to do that and to be able to kind of big up everybody in the midst of being so busy yourself?
Oh my goodness. I grew up in a time where I feel like I got the best of the best in Detroit public schools, in communities and neighborhoods. And mind you, I'm an 80s baby, and I grew up in the 90s and early 2000s. And so we had, once again, those great contradictions. We had crack epidemics, war on drugs, but we had area East schools that had science fairs, and we had a 4-H community center. We had after school enrichment. We had Girl Scouts, all these things that existed in spite of, right? And so in order for us to have had those things while in the midst of this particular era that could have been very toxic, and it was for a lot of people, there were still people, adults, teenagers, that were a little older than me that mentored and actually provided, an escape from what could be. And we had, we were blessed with choices. Not very many kids have choices now. So I can walk past what I didn't want to be on my way to what I wanted to be. You understand?
Ooh.
And so I always wanted to, when I became of age and when I felt like I had something to offer, I wanted to provide that alternative too. I'm all those things that kids that have a little less are. I embody that. That's one reason why I'm so involved. I know what it feels like to go without. Excuse me. I know what it is to not have resources, whether within the home or outside. I know what it's like to not have sufficient school supplies. I know what it's like both in the home and inside the schoolhouse, what it's like to be limited, but to have all this know-how. And I also know what it's like to have adults and children alike be industrious enough to get those things that were missing. Or if they didn't get those things exactly, they improvised in a way that you didn't miss what you never had. And so I give back in the hopes that somebody can look back on me when I leave up out of here and say, yeah, she she showed me an alternative. In spite of, she showed me an alternative. And my work is not done yet. I have a long way to go. And I pray that I'm blessed with many more decades to get it accomplished. But when it's all said and done, I want people to say that she gave her all. And when I came into contact with her, I was able to glean something worthwhile. And everybody won't have that same sentiment. But as many people as I can affect that way positively, I hope to do so. And that keeps me going. So when I'm tired and I'm juggling all these things, I just, I just want to make sure that I take enough time out of my day to see what can be improved upon and what I can do to help improve it. And this work, and I won't say that every day I wake up and I want to lend a helping hand. We all have a selfish, part of ourselves where we want to lay in the bed and we want to have a day to ourselves. That's natural. It's okay. But you can't have so many days to yourself where you're ineffective, especially when you have a particular calling on your life.
Man, I know the listeners are learning because I'm learning. I feel educated. I feel enlightened. Thank you so much. I know before, looking at the time and everything, but before we get out of here, I have to question, what was it like when you participated in the record cipher?
Oh my goodness, man, that was amazing. That was tiring.
What is the ending limit? What time frame did you guys?
Oh my goodness, we went over 24 hours. Our aim was to go 24 hours, and the only reason why we stopped is the equipment stopped before we did.
Wow.
We went well over 24 hours, and my whole team just annihilated that task. And I'm telling you, I'll tell you, like, it was amazing because around the I want to say about the 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. hour, we had a task that required you to freestyle as one of your teammates wrote a word on a whiteboard. And to have to be that sharp and quick at that time of morning. Man. And for us to be able to do, nothing compares to hip hop. Nothing compares to the minds, bodies, and talents that participate in a genre of hip hop. The art form itself embodies perseverance, right? Yeah. It embodies ingenuity. It embodies that industrious nature that we all have to have when we have lack. And we had a lack of sleep. We had a lack of food. I don't even think we had much water. We had some, but we were literally in an old garage off Grand River. I'm not too far. I actually bought a house not too far from it a few years ago. Okay. We were in that old warehouse going for it. No flash, no fancy, just beats. And then the killing part is when the music went out for a spell, prior to it going out completely, made our own beats. I remember Elijah Day from Clear Soul Forces. He got on the beat machines or beatbox and everything and did his thing. And then I'm used to going a cappella often, so that was nothing to me. And then Super MC, we did this tag team kind of round robin type of thing. And I remember the sun coming up. And it was cold. And we made it, but we still had to go into the evening. Wow. We made it, and I just remember everybody making it, and that's essentially what hip hop is about. Like, you made it. When the rappers, they get out and they brag and they do all this braggadocious stuff, this bravado and everything, they're simply saying, I made it in spite of. I am the alternative in spite of. So that's what I got from that cipher, and that's what I get from the genre itself.
Wow.
It is spot up.
I remember going to bed and then getting up in the morning and checking. I'm like, they're still going. Like, that's awesome.
I'm telling you, I don't think I'll do it again, but I'm so proud. I'm so proud to have that under my belt and have it in the history books. I am.
That's incredible, and I love what you say. You learned from that. That's awesome. And I know Breezy's probably burning with a question.
Well, my input has to do with all the experience that you've brought into the set today. You've already earned your way into an invitation to come back, but you have just inspired people from point A to point Z and beyond with your voice, your thoughts, and sharing of your ideas today in this space. So
thank you.
It's a really, really grand thing.
Well, thank you for allowing me to do so. I appreciate you both.
Yes, well, thank you. We appreciate having you on. And before we close this out, we want to make sure that everybody knows where they can find you. Yeah, you can drop all your information so that way they can keep up with what you got going on.
If you want to tap into my odd mind, you can follow me on Instagram at DEssence. That's DSSENSE. As well as Twitter, that is DSSENSE. And I have a few things on TikTok, not really on there much, but that is also DEssence, the DSSENSE. Facebook, my artist page is D.S.S.E.N.S.E, DEssence. And then my Facebook page is Deidre D.S. Smith, that is DEIDRE.DSSENSE Smith, SMITH. And also you can check out on my Detroit Everything Facebook page, and check me out on all the social media platforms, bigging up all the phenomenal citizens of Detroit, Michigan, and the artist scene and everyday people. And you can also check out my latest project entitled Cooper Street Chrysalis, which is available on all music platforms. You can stream it, you can YouTube it, you can iTunes it, you can Spotify it, everything. Wherever you get your music from, be sure to check out that project. And you can also check me out on Bandcamp. I have some things on SoundCloud. Just type in DEssence, and a lot of things will come up, from various articles, journals, videos, interviews. All those great things will come up, and you can get a little more insight into who I am in my life's work.
Awesome. So the listeners, you're definitely going to want to do that. Make sure you check her out everywhere that she mentioned. And thank you again, Deidre D.S. Smith, for coming on and sharing your world with us and your wisdom. We really appreciate you and can't wait to have you back.
Oh, no, I appreciate you both. And thank you so much for having me. What an awesome platform. I wish you continued success.
Thank you. All right. It was really, really great having her on. Like I had mentioned, I had been watching her on social media and all the stuff that she has time to accomplish while also uplifting others is just so inspiring. And I mean, you could really gather that that's just the essence of who she is in the interview.
Yeah, well, a lot of positivity coming from her and from her direction. So, it's all good as far as I'm concerned.
Yes. All right, we're going to take a quick pause for the cause, and we'll be back with music industry news right after this.
Okay.
McAllen and the Rio Grande, or in Chicago, New York, or Los Angeles. It is business, big business.
All right, we're back for music industry news. First up, Issa Rae's radio label has partnered with Google to launch a radio creators program. So this is for emerging artists, and submissions will be open next month, and recipients will be announced in March. So 2 female artists and 2 composers will receive funding and resources to create about a 3 to 5 song EP. They'll get to retain full ownership of the music, and the songs from the EP will be added to radio's music library. So that way the artist can have a chance for sync opportunities and more ways to earn money. So, shout out to Issa Rae for putting that together. It's a tremendous opportunity. Once we have more information about when that will be available to submit, we'll be sure to pass that along to you.
Wow, that's really strong impact right there. I every day, every week, there's something new coming from one direction or another.
Yeah.
Hey, that's significant. So, hey, we got to see what's next.
Yep. Also, MRC's data had a newly corrected report that shows that the catalog music claimed 69.8% of the U.S. music market. So a correction to the story that we shared last week, just because MRC's data was originally misquoted. So, yep, that's the headline for that. And so, once again, it's still really interesting to see that it's a lot of the legacy stuff that's getting all the attention now. So, yeah, just a reminder, make the music you want to make. Don't worry about being trendy. And it'll pay off in the long run. All right, and Monty Khan, the domain name pioneer, has partnered with others to create .hip hop. So now the LLC is becoming the registry operator for the domain extension .hip hop. So, the purpose is to try to elevate members of the hip hop community by, giving them a domain name that'll kind of identify with the art and the culture. So this is another good opportunity. If you don't have a website yet, if you're a rapper out there or you know one, that'd be a great chance to do that. And, it could be your stage name at .hip hop. So, yeah, really cool things happening.
Now, that one right there, it's going to take a minute to sink in. I'm trying to stay aware of all of these things, but, I guess, like I said, it's going to take a minute to sink in. I'm still positive with it, but we'll just have to see on this end.
Yeah, sometimes it can be a lot to take in with so many different things happening. Yeah. And speaking of which, more opportunities. Former Good Music exec Che Pope has teamed with Dan Gilbert to make a record label in Detroit. So, of course, he used to be the COO of the company. So now he's trying to make Detroit a hub once again for the music business with Workshop. So it's a music-focused lifestyle company and label, and it just launched recently in downtown Detroit. So especially for our listeners in the area, definitely something you might want to check out.
Well, one thing about it, I really, just like the title of the show, verbalizes it. I get marveled. I'm marveled by the stories that you come up with, the news that you come up. This really is music marvels. And, so I don't take it lightly, because I know the research that's going behind these stories. So, hey, just keep bringing it.
Thank you. And AEW is set to release a hip-hop compilation featuring the talent for Black History Month. So the project's going to bring together producers, musicians, rappers, artists, all in the pro wrestling space to come together and tell the stories of their talent. So, it's always fun to kind of see when sports and music worlds collide. So, because they really do go hand in hand. So be looking forward to that.
All of these news stories keep flowing. I'm already hyped to learn, just to see my reaction and the world's reaction upcoming in the next only few weeks with a Super Bowl halftime show. And I believe that's only about 3 weeks away, 4 weeks away from now. So that ought to be interesting to see just, what goes behind the scenes of this latest halftime show.
Yeah, for sure. All right, and we'll take a quick pause for the cause, and then we'll be right back with more music industry news right after this.
Okay.
back with round 2 of music industry news. The independent label agency Merlin has decided to partner up with a multi-year deal with Licked in the UK. So this platform lets video creators legally use copyrighted music and audio for their videos. So the deal's going to offer artists, a lot more opportunities for revenue streams and even more exposure. So, exposure is always good, but it's even better when it comes with payment. So just something else to keep in mind, something to be aware of. And if you haven't been to achickwitbeatz.com lately, you can check it out. And there's a new guest post from Emma Grace Brown called How and Why You Should Expose Your Child to Music. So, explores how beneficial it is to getting your kids involved in the arts. And she also offers a lot of great resources for you to be able to implement that. So make sure you check that out as well.
Hey, I really did get an internet message concerning some of the news stories, giving some commendations to you, Achickwitbeatz, for the way you're educating people. I mentioned that, and we mentioned that, periodically and everything, but I got a legit follow-up giving you accolades. So that shows me that, what you're doing is reaching a lot of people in a lot of different places. So don't stop.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, it's just so challenging to kind of cut through all the noise to find the information that has value. So, that's the goal. We're seeking to educate people. Of course, the gossip stuff might be interesting, but it's not necessarily going to help you with your music career. So, yeah, we try to focus and hone in on that stuff that actually has potential and things that you can, try to replicate maybe in your own way for your own career. So, yeah, it makes me really, really glad to hear that, and I appreciate it. And this is just, an interesting collaboration that I know I personally wasn't expecting, but Heidi Klum and Snoop Dogg have released a single called Chai Tea with Heidi. So it's a dance song produced by Wedding Cake. And it's her return to the world of music. And Snoop was her first choice, apparently. And speaking of Snoop Dogg, in case you haven't heard by now, he's venturing into the hot dog business because he filed trademarks for Snoop Dogs. So, in the promotion of it, they were saying, go ahead and bring the ketchup and mustard along with that gin and juice. So, yeah, he's always been an enterprising person, had his hand involved in many things because diversification is really, really cool. So, yep, he's got those additional revenue streams coming in. And Hypnosis and Blackstone have acquired 80% of Kenny Chesney's recorded music royalties. So the deal that they inked with him covers any future greatest hits, live or acoustic albums he might do in the future. So once again, like I said, these classics, they're willing to invest in them and keep it going. They're recognizing that, it's another great opportunity to earn income. And speaking of which, Music Investments, Warner Music Group is conducting their earnings conference call Tuesday, February 8th. If you can't ended up tuning into it right then, it will be available for replay all the way up through March 10th. But it's always kind of good to know where their revenue is coming from and anything that they may have going in the future. So, yeah, definitely recommend that you check that out because, like I said, anytime we share the stuff about the majors, it's always kind of good so that way you can know, what's going on so you can model your career accordingly. So,
and, every so often I always bring this topic up. No matter where you're located on the globe, you should visit Achickwitbeatz.com. Why? Because there's a plethora of information there that can help an up-and-coming musician or a seasoned professional with various bits of information that can help sharpen their career, mold their career. That person, that individual or individuals may be rolling full speed and maybe they hit a brick wall and don't know what to do or need some really, really sharp information or guidance. That's the word right there, guidance. So wherever you are, please visit Achickwitbeatz.com. There's beats that are there that hey, that might be your next big hit, so and beats is not all. There's just all kinds of things going there that have to do with the music industry and musicians and artists. So visit that again one more time, Achickwitbeatz.com, and that can be accessed no matter where you are on the globe.
Thank you. Yes, I appreciate it. All right, and that's it for music industry news. We're going to take another quick pause for the cause and then be back to close out the night with you. right, and that is a wrap for us for this week's edition of Music Marvels with Achickwitbeatz and Breezy Gipson. Once again, we thank you for joining us on this journey as we, seek to inspire and educate one another. And we just really appreciate you for tuning in.
Yeah, it's a really wonderful thing. Word is spreading around the globe, not just around the block, and people are being educated and made aware of a lot of different things. So the beat rolls on.
Yes. All right. And so, we'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Tune in, tell a friend. We'll see you then. Peace.
Peace.